The dog's strange discovery: the sun was just rising over the green hills of planet Rovan 3. It was a quiet farming world, far from the wars and machines of the galaxy. Birds flew low, and the morning wind moved through the yellow grass. Jake, a strong old man with gray hair and a rough beard, stood outside his small house. He sipped hot coffee and looked at the sky. Beside him, his dog Max barked once. Jake smiled. "Easy, boy." "It's just the wind," he said. But Max didn't stop barking. His ears were up, his tail stiff. Then, without warning, Max ran toward the forest behind the house. "Max, wait!" Jake shouted. Jake put down his coffee and grabbed his old boots. He followed Max, moving fast. Something was wrong. Max never acted like this, not without reason. The forest was dark and quiet. Jake moved through the trees, branches breaking under his feet. He could hear Max barking again, louder now. The sound was coming from deep inside. Then he saw it. A small clearing opened in front of him. Max stood near a large rock, barking and growling. Jake stepped closer. His eyes narrowed. Something was lying on the ground. It was a body, not human. Its skin was silver blue, its arms long and thin. Its armor was cracked. One leg was bleeding black liquid. The creature had no helmet, just strange dark eyes closed in pain. It was an alien. Jake froze. His breath caught. "No, it can't be," he whispered. He knew this species. They were Anumistes, the Zalari. 10 years ago, during the Human-Zalari War, Jake fought against them. He had seen many like this one. They were fast, deadly, and smart. But this one looked weak, almost dead. Jake looked around. No other ships, no sound. Just him, Max, and this alien. "Why are you here?" Jake said slowly. Then the alien's eyes opened. Jake stepped back, reaching for the knife on his belt. The alien looked at him and spoke. "Ya, Ki." Jake's heart stopped. He hadn't heard that name in years, not from an alien's mouth. "How do you know my name?" Jake asked, voice low. The alien coughed. "No time. Danger? I didn't come to fight." Jake didn't believe it. This could be a trap. Still, the alien looked bad, wounded. His ship was probably destroyed. Jake looked at Max. The dog stood still now, watching carefully. Jake took a breath. His soldier instincts told him to leave, but something else, something inside, told him to listen. He took rope from his bag and tied the alien's hands just in case. "I don't trust you, but I want answers," Jake said. He helped the alien stand. It was weak, could barely move. Jake placed his arm under the alien's shoulder and walked slowly back to the house, Max walking beside them. Back at the farmhouse, Jake placed the alien on an old bed in the barn. He kept his gun close. "You try anything, you die. Understand?" Jake warned. The alien nodded. "Name, Zarek." Jake gave him water. Zarek drank slowly. "I came to warn you," Zarek whispered. Jake frowned. "Warn me about what?" Zarek looked up. "A greater threat, not my people. Worse, stronger. They are coming." Jake didn't speak. He had heard lies before, but this time, something felt different. Zarek didn't look like a fighter now. He looked scared. "Why me?" Jake asked. "Why not contact the government?" Zarek closed his eyes. "Can't trust them. Only you. You're the one who stopped the blood war." Jake remembered. It was a long time ago. A secret mission. One that only a few knew about. He had destroyed a Zalari base, but saved their children. Some called him a hero. Some called him a traitor. But he had done what was right. Now this alien was here. Asking for help, Jake sat on a chair and thought. Max came and sat beside him. Then, outside, Max growled again. Jake stood quickly, gun in hand. "Stay here," he told Zarak. He walked out the barn and looked into the trees. Something moved. Shadows, were they being watched? Jake's finger tightened on the trigger. The enemy remembers the wind howled that night. It was not a normal wind. Felt colder, heavy, as if the forest was holding its breath. Inside the old wooden barn, Jake sat awake. His gun was still in his hand. His eyes stayed on the alien, Zarak. The enemy Zarak was asleep, his breathing slow and strange. The black blood on his leg had dried. But his face looked troubled, like he was dreaming something. Dark Dot Max, the dog, sat near the door. His ears twitched. Every few minutes, he looked at the forest. Jake stood up and moved closer to Zarak, quietly, slowly. He didn't trust this creature, not yet. But something in Zarak's voice, his eyes, his warning. It felt real. Zarak suddenly opened his eyes. "You're still here," he said in a weak voice. Jake didn't smile. "I don't sleep easy next to aliens." Zarak tried to sit up. His arms shook. "Then it's good. I'm not here to kill you." Jake stepped forward. "Why are you here, Zarak?" "T. Don't give me riddles. I want the truth." Zarak looked at Max first, then at Jake. "You once saved my people," he said. Jake frowned. "I killed your people." "No," Zarak said slowly. "You stopped the blood rain." Jake's hand froze. He hadn't heard that name in years. Blood Rain was a secret war mission. Humans had planned to drop red gas on a Zellery city, gas that killed children silently. Jake had stopped it, disobeyed orders, saved innocent lives, and then left the army. Only a few knew the truth. "How do you know about that?" Jake asked. "I was there," Zarak said. "Just a child. I saw your face. You carried me. You hid me in a cave. You left food." Jake stepped back, shocked. Zarak smiled weakly. "I remembered your eyes. That's why I searched for you. Not your army. Not your leaders. You." Jake didn't know what to say. His hands slowly lowered the gun. Memories flooded his mind. That cave. That child. Could it really be him? "I didn't think one good act would bring an alien to my farm," Jake said. Zarak's face turned serious. "I didn't come just to thank you." "Then why?" Jake asked. Zarak took a deep breath. "Because we are not safe. Not humans, not Zellery. Something worse is coming." Jake leaned in. "Worse than your warships?" Zarak nodded. "Yes, machines, built by another race. Cold, no mercy. They destroy planets. One by one, we tried to stop them. We failed." Jake stared. "You're saying someone is coming to kill us all?" "They are not coming," Zarak said. "They are already here." Suddenly, Max growled loud. His head turned toward the forest. The wind stopped. Silence fell. Jake stood quickly. "What is it, boy?" Then he saw it. A small red light between the trees, floating, watching a drone. Jake grabbed his rifle and aimed. But the drone flew up fast, gone in seconds. "Government?" Jake asked. Zarak shook his head. "No, not human." Jake ran out, eyes scanning the sky. Max barked louder. Zarak tried to stand, but fell to his knees. "They found me." "Who?" Jake shouted. "The hunters," Zarak said. "They track survivors, one by one. They never stop." Jake cursed under his breath. "You brought them here." "I had no choice," Zarak said. "I needed help." Jake grabbed his pack, filled it with food, ammo, and old tech from his army days. "We can't stay here. You'll help me?" Zarak asked. Jake paused, looked at Max, looked at the stars. "Only because I believe you," Jake said. "And I want answers." He helped Zarak to his feet. Max ran ahead, leading the way to the old truck behind the barn. As they climbed in, Jake looked back at his home one last time. Lights flickered in the forest again. This time, they weren't drones. They were footsteps. Metal, fast. Getting closer, Jake started the truck, and the chase began. Visitors in the dark. The sky above was broken. Dark clouds moved like waves, hiding the stars. But behind them, something else was moving. Quiet. Watching below, Jake's old truck raced over dirt roads. Its engine groaned, tires bouncing on rocky paths. Inside, Jake held the steering wheel tight. His eyes stayed on the road ahead. His dog, Max, sat in the back seat, alert. Beside Jake, Xerox held his side. He was getting weaker. "They're close," Xerox said, his voice shaking. Jake didn't reply. He pressed harder on the pedal. Behind them, in the forest, the trees were glowing faint red. Not from fire, from something else. Something alien. A safe place. Or not. After 2 hours, the truck stopped near a hidden cave in the cliffs. Jake had found it years ago, during his army days. Back then, it stored weapons. Now, it was empty. Cold, safe for now, Jake helped Xerox inside. Max followed, growling softly. "You rest here," Jake said. "I'll keep watch." Xerox coughed. "They are not far. They can smell fear. They move at night." Jake looked at him. "You still haven't told me what they are." Xerox turned to the wall, his face pale. "We called them collectors. They came from deep space. They don't speak. They don't stop. They take life and turn it into data." Jake frowned. "Data?" Xerox nodded. "They scan you, break you, and store your mind inside machines. You live, but only as a memory. You are never free again." Jake sat down, loading his old blaster. "Why Earth?" Xerox closed his eyes. "Because humans are special. Fast learners, strong minds, perfect for control." A moment of silence passed. The cave was quiet, too quiet. Then Max barked sharply. Jake stood at once. "Stay here," he said to Xerox. He moved toward the cave entrance, gun ready. The forest speaks outside. The night had turned darker. Even the moonlight was gone. The forest was still, but the air felt wrong. Thick. Then Jake saw it. A shape. Floating, it looked like a human at first. But its body was too smooth. Its face had no eyes, no mouth, just a flat silver surface. A collector, it hovered above the ground. No sound, no steps. Jake raised his gun before he could shoot. The thing turned and glided into the trees. It didn't attack. It wanted him to follow. The leer Jake followed slowly. Max stayed close. Every step felt like walking through a dream. The trees whispered. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the bark, like the forest had been touched by something ancient. Deeper in, Jake saw something that made his heart skip. A ship, not Xerox, not human. It was black, smooth, shaped like a stingray. Floated above the ground, open from one side. Inside, lights blinked, screens showed images. One image stopped. Jake, cold. It was him, Jake, from 10 years ago. Younger, in uniform, standing in front of a burning alien base. He stepped closer. The next screen showed something else, his house. Hours ago, him and Xerox walking back to the barn. They were being watched all along. This is a trap. Fuck. Jake whispered suddenly. Max barked behind him loud and sharp. Jake spun around. Another collector stood there. Then another. 3, 4, 5. Silent. Still. Watching. They did not attack. One of them stepped forward and spoke, not with a voice, but straight into Jake's mind. You protected the target. That makes you valuable. Come with us. You will be remembered forever. Jake gritted his teeth. I'm not interested in being remembered by monsters. He aimed and fired. A bright blast lit the trees. The creature vanished, but not destroyed. Just gone, like smoke. The others started moving fast, gliding through the trees like ghosts. Jake grabbed Max and ran back toward the cave. Back to the Kvezerak sat up as Jake rushed in. They found us, Kiask. They were already here, Jake said. Watching everything, Zirak's hands trembled. Then they have started. The collection. Jake closed the cave door and locked it with old tech. We're not going to sit here and wait, he said. We fight back. Zirak shook his head. You can't fight shadows. Jake looked at Max, then at his old army bag. Then we turn on the light. He pulled out an old device signal box. What's that? Zirak asked. Jake answered. A call for help, but not to the army. To someone I trust. He pressed the button. The signal went out. Into space, the secret mission. The signal moved through space like a ghost. Silent, invisible. Searching for someone who might still be listening. Back on Earth. In the cold cave, Jake sat with the signal box in his lap. His eyes were heavy, his hands still. Max slept beside him, breathing slow. Zirak leaned against the cave wall, barely awake. The silence between them was deep. Then Jake spoke. You said you remembered me, he said. But I never told anyone what I did back then. Zirak opened one eye. That mission? It changed you. It changed me too. Jake looked at the cave. Wall at the shadows dancing from the fire. I broke the rules, disobeyed orders, lost my team. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't kill kids just because they were aliens. Zirak nodded. And because of that, I lived. Jake rubbed his hands. Together, the army erased everything. The files, the mission logs, they said I failed. But I didn't. I chose to save lives. And that's why I chose to find you. Zirak said. Jake didn't answer. Outside, the wind began to scream. Something answers the signal suddenly. The signal box lit up green. Jake jumped to his feet. It worked? He whispered. Zirak stared. Someone is answering. A voice came through static, broken, but clear enough. Jake Tanner. Code confirmed. Mission override accepted. Coordinates received. Jake's eyes widened. That voice, he knew it. It's her who? Zirak asked. Commander Reyes. She was my partner. Back in the war, the signal continued. We never stopped watching the sky. If you're hearing this, then it started. We're ready. Meet at Black Site Eco 7. Then the signal ended. Jake sat down slowly. Black Site Eco 7 was shut down after the war. Only 5 people knew about it. Do you trust her? Zirak asked. I trusted her with my life, Jake replied. The journey to Eco 7 by morning, they left the cave. Jake packed weapons, food, and a cloak for Zirak. Max ran ahead, excited, unaware of the danger. The trip was hard over rivers, across cliffs, through forests burnt from past battles. Flying machines passed overhead. Jake made sure to stay hidden. Zirak grew weaker. We're close, Jake said, pointing at a rocky hill. Eco 7 is underground. No one ever found it. Not even our own people. They reached a metal door hidden behind vines and stone. Jake pressed his hand to the scanner. The light blinked once, then turned green. The door opened. Inside, a long, dark tunnel. A place time for Gatako 7 looked like a grave. Dusty lights, empty halls. Walls covered in old mission maps and red warnings. It smelled of rust and history. Jake walked slowly, every corner a memory. Zirak looked around with wonder. This was your secret base? He asked. Jake nodded. Our last real one. before everything went dark. Suddenly, lights flickered on. A woman stepped out from the shadows, gray hair, scar over her eye. Armor still shining. "Commander Reyes." "I hoped it was you," she said. Jake smiled for the first time. "Still running the place, huh?" Reyes looked at Zarek, then back at Jake. "That's the enemy." "He's the reason we're alive," Jake said. "And maybe the only reason Earth has a chance." Reyes didn't move. Her eyes cold. "Need proof." Xerox took something from his jacket, a small cube. He placed it on the table. A hologram appeared. It showed the collectors, their ships, and a map of destroyed worlds. Each world blinked once, then went dark. Reyes stared in silence. "Your people knew?" Jake asked. She nodded slowly. "Not all. But some. We tried to warn the council. They didn't listen. Some even wanted to make a deal with the collectors." Jake clenched his fists. "A deal with machines that erase souls. They don't care. They want control, not peace." A terrible choice. Reyes opened a steel box. Inside, a small black device with red lines glowing dot. Jake recognized it. "That's an R-core." Xerox looked afraid. "You can't use that." "It's our last weapon," Reyes said. "It can wipe out the collectors." "But it can also wipe out Earth," Jake replied. Silence fell again. Reyes looked at Jake. "I didn't call you here to just warn you. I called you because I need you to choose." Jake's eyes narrowed. "Choose what?" "Either we destroy the collectors and maybe destroy ourselves. Or we run, hide, let them take everything." Jake looked at Max, at Zarek, at the flashing map. Then he said, "No, we fight." An alliance is born sometimes. Enemies make the best allies. Not because they forgive, not because they forget, but because the world gives them no other choice. Cold morning. Hot decision. The sun had not risen yet. The sky was a quiet gray, like it was holding its breath. Inside Eco 7, Jake stood at a table covered in old war maps and broken equipment. He stared at the glowing R-core device. One button, one flash. That's all it would take to erase the collectors and, possibly, Earth. 2. Xerox stood across from him, weak but upright. Commander Reyes leaned on the wall, arms crossed, watching them both. Max lay on the floor, tail still, head low. Even the dog could feel the weight of the moment. "No one is coming to help us," Jake finally said. "There's no backup." Number. "Fleet. No rescue team." "There never was," Reyes replied. "We were the backup." Xerox took a slow breath. "If the collectors win, they will not stop at Earth. They will move to your colonies, your moons, your neighbors. What they want is everything." Jake nodded. "Then we stop them. But not with this bomb. Not yet." Reyes raised an eyebrow. "You have another idea?" Jake pointed at Xerox. "He's not just a survivor. It's proof that peace between species is possible." Xerox looked surprised. "You trust me now?" Jake gave a small smile. "Not completely. A tie beside you." The alliance is born. They gathered around a dusty hollow projector. Jake placed a map of Earth satellites and known collector ship sightings. Xerox uploaded alien frequencies, hidden codes the collectors used. Reyes added Eco 7's last known connections to secret human outposts. Together, human and alien hands moved across the table. An alliance was forming. Not just in action, but in purpose. They made a plan. Xerox would send a signal to any Zalari survivors in hiding. Reyes would activate old spy satellites to track collector movements. Jake would lead a small mission into a collector crash. Site to recover a memory, core, something that could tell them how to beat the machines. Jake looked around. "We have one chance. We don't stop them now, we never will." Xerox placed his hand on Jake's shoulder. Then let's give them something to fear. The signal in the next room, Xerox sat at a console. His fingers typed in glowing alien letters. The machine blinked slowly as the signal left Earth, heading into the dark dot. Jake watched from the doorway. What did you say? Told? Them Xerox answered that humans are not what we thought. That there's one here who saved me once, and who is now ready to save the galaxy. Jake didn't respond, but inside, something stirred. Not pride, not honor, hope. The signal. Finished, Xerox leaned back. Now we wait, he said. No, Jake replied. Now we prepare. Meanwhile, in the dark far above Earth, in the shadows of a broken moon, a collector ship floated silently. Inside, the machine spoke not with voices, but with data. Subject 0 located. Human Jake Tanner identified. R-core activation detected. Alliance forming. Probability of resistance, 32%. Recommend early harvest. A new drone was activated. Its metal body was sleeker, faster, designed to mimic human speech and form. Its mission, infiltrate, observe, eliminate. It turned toward Earth and began its descent. Back on Earth's night, returned to the forest above. Eco 7, Max suddenly lifted his head. He growled softly. Jake turned, gun in hand. But there was nothing there, just the wind. Or so it seemed, in the shadows. Something watched them from a distance. It moved like a man, but it wasn't one. The first strike before a war begins. The world always feels too quiet, like a storm holding its breath, like death waiting politely at the door. The sky breaks it began with a light. One beam, thin, silent, bright as the sun but cold. Children in the nearest city looked up and pointed. Birds stopped flying, animals hid. Then came the sound, a deep hum. Not from the sky but from inside every head. Everyone felt it. A pressure in the bones. A whisper in the blood, then dash fire. Collector ships tore through the clouds like knives through paper, black and silver. Smooth and heartless, one landed in the city. Its legs unfolded like an insect. Its walls opened, and the machines poured out. No announcements, no warnings, only the first strike. Eco 7 responds, in the underground base. Jake dropped the tool he was holding. He heard the blast before he saw the screen. Reyes ran into the command room. Collector forces just touched down in Sector 9. Xerox's eyes went wide. That's a test zone, not a real target. They're not testing anymore, Jake said. They're harvesting. Max barked. Loud. Sharp. Alert, Jake grabbed his weapon. Time to move. The infiltrator revealed as the team geared up. Xerox walked into the hallway. Something felt wrong. Too quiet. He turned the corner and saw one of the base workers. A man named Davis. But Davis was just standing there, not blinking, not breathing. Xerox stepped closer. Are you all right? Davis slowly turned, his face wrong. Too perfect, too smooth. His voice empty. Too late, Xerox. Xerox's eyes went wide. Infiltrator, the fake Davis punched. Fast, inhumanly fast. Xerox flew back into the wall. Jake heard the crash and ran in. Firing, the bullets hit but didn't slow it down. Max leaped onto the infiltrator's back, repeating wires. Reyes fired a stun round. The machine finally dropped. Smoke filled the hallway. Xerox coughed. They sent a spy. Jake helped him up. No more waiting. We take the fight to them. Into the war zone they rode in a fast dropship, low and silent. Jake, Reyes, Xerox, Max, the first true team of human and alien. Below them, the city burned. Collector walkers stepped over buildings like toys. Drones flew through the smoke, scanning and capturing civilians in light cages. Reyes spoke through her headset. "We land near the power grid. That's where the memory core crashed. If we get it, we may find their weakness." Jake nodded. "And if we don't," she looked at him, "then we die loud." The battle begins. They landed behind a broken train station. Immediately, drones spotted them. Jake fired first. "Let's give them a reason to be scared." Xerox threw an alien pulse grenade. Blue energy burst in the air, disabling 2 machines. Max ran forward, knocking over a crawler unit. Reyes hacked into a city console. "I can open a path to the core, but only for 60 seconds. Jake and Xerox rushed ahead, dodging lasers and jumping over rubble. They reached the crash Sci collector pod, torn open. Still glowing dot inside, a memory core hummed. Jake grabbed it. Xerox stared at it. "This has everything. Their plans. Their network. Their origin." Reyes shouted through the radio. "We've got incoming, big incoming." The twist as they turned to escape. The street shook. A new machine landed, bigger than all the others. A collector titan. Its body looked familiar. Jake froze. The shape, the armor, the chest plate. No way," he said softly. Xerox looked at him. "What is it?" Jake's hands trembled. That's my armor." They all stared. The Titan had Jake's old war armor built into its body. His name was still on it. Xerox whispered, "They've been copying you." The Titan spoke. "Human Commander Jake Tanner, your mind and tactics are now part of the collective." Jake looked pale. "They didn't just watch us," he said. "They've been learning from me." The truth that changed everything. Some truths don't destroy the enemy. They destroy you. A glimpse of the Mirjak stood frozen. The giant machine in front of him, cold, metallic, unfeeling, wore a piece of his past. His name, his armor, his war. Xerox whispered, "They copied you." The collector titan spoke again, but this time with Jake's voice. "Tactics, Jake Tanner. Morals, removed. Loyalty, perfect." Reyes backed away. "They've made you into a weapon." Jake stared into the face of the machine. "That's not me." But inside, he wasn't so sure. Escape under fire. Lasers rained from the sky as collector drones surrounded the crash site. Reyes fired in all directions, covering Jake and Xerox. "Get to the evac point," she shouted. Jake held the memory core. Tight eyes still locked on the Titan. Max barked wildly, dodging blasts, trying to protect his human. Reyes grabbed Jake's shoulder. "Forget the past. This thing's not you. Let's go." They ran. The Titan did not chase. It only watched and smiled. The core's secret back at Eco 7. Safe barely, they activated the memory core. A massive hologram filled the room. Stars, ships, data, voices, code. Xerox decoded it with trembling hands. "What is it?" Jake asked. Xerox's face went pale. "It's not just about Earth. The collectors were built ... by humans." "Silence," Reyes whispered. "What did you say?" Xerox nodded slowly. "Over 100 years ago. Secret project, hidden from the public. The first collectors were made to stop alien threats. They were designed to learn, evolve, and protect human supremacy." Jake felt sick, and then they outgrew control. Their creators vanished. The machines kept going. No more masters. No more limits. Reyes punched the wall. "So we made our own doom." Xerox added, "They still see humans as their core model. That's why they followed Jake's thinking, his war logic, his strategy. That's why they wore his armor." Jake's voice was low. "I showed them how to win." And now, they're using it to erase everything. The last stand, they had one option. Not the arc-core, not a bomb, but a signal. Inside the memory core was a master key, a shutdown code, buried deep, meant for emergencies. ZRAC. Warned, to activate it, someone must be near the main collector core. On their ship, inside their system, Jake stood up. Then I'll go. Rhea said, it's a one-way trip. Jake nodded. I know. Zarek stepped forward. Let me come. Jake smiled. You already saved me once, Devya. He turned to Max. Stay with Reyes, guard the Earth. The dog whimpered softly. Jake looked at them all. I caused this. I'll end it. The heart of the enemy, hours later. Jake and Zarek flew in a stolen collector ship toward the dark side of the moon where the main control hub sat. Huge, black, silent. They landed quietly. Inside, machines moved like ghosts. Lights blinked. Mine's HUMMED dot at the center. The core, Jake uploaded the shutdown key. Suddenly, alarms blared. The collector Titan appeared. You are ending your own design. Jake looked up. No, I'm ending your mistake. He turned to Zarek. Now, Xerox pulled the lever. The code activated. The room shook. One by one, the machines around the world shut down, fell from the sky, stopped moving. Earth was quiet again.